Alrighty, hello, hello. How's it going? Hope everyone's doing well today. Okay, I am excited. So I'm not. Well, okay. There's a lot going on. So one, my thing, my stylus is not working. It kind of is, but it's like sticking. I don't know what. Maybe I need to close Clip Studio and turn it off and on. Let's try that. One moment. Let me say, do I need to save this? No, I don't need to save that. Something's not working with my tablet. I think it's a me issue. I mean, it's definitely a me issue, but it's not like a tech issue. Okay, this is gonna go dark for a second. Actually, let me save this first, just so I have the template. Turn it off and on again. Here we go. Good start to a stream. Black screen. We got the whole thing. I mean, there's my face. Okay, so I want to do something today because I just saw right when literally, and it's always a thing where at the start of every stream I never know what I'm gonna paint. Um, and it was not 10 minutes ago that I loaded this up, and I thought, you know what? It's been a long time since I've checked out the Clip Studio illustration contest thingies, and I normally am not a fan of them. But I clicked it anyway. So I clicked it and I decided to see what it was all about because I thought maybe things are changing, and they're not really changing, but the theme is cats and I didn't know what to paint, so I thought, what if we just do a cat painting? It's very simple. It's literally just an original illustration on the theme of cats. I'm normally not a big fan of these contests because if you go down in the submission rules, there's this thing that says, well, a lot of them are just your normal rules. It tells you all the stuff that you can and can't do. And then it says this. Entries will be judged on quality, thematic relevance, and originality. Okay, whatever. Those are pretty vague, but also that's fine. Fair enough. Although not a deciding factor, the number of reactions to your submission will be used as a reference for judging. I don't like that. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound fair at all. It sounds extremely like maybe it's just them acknowledging that they will have a bias and they're not doing anything to remove it, which is, I guess, at least that's the bright side of looking at it. But anyway, that makes me a little nervous. But I still want to do it because I don't know what else to paint today. I don't know if I'm actually going to submit my thing for this, but it'll at least be give me something to work on today. So that's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. Popularity, a little bit. It's kind of annoying. Made in China, how's it going? Yeah, it's a little bit of a popularity contest, which is, I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe they're just, again, if I'm trying to take the most gracious interpretation of that, it might just be that they recognize that, like, because in theory, if you were going to do a contest, you would want to, like, remove the name, right? And maybe you knew that, like, you just aren't gonna be bothered to do that because you have too many submissions, you don't have enough people to help judge, and so knowing that you aren't removing the name, that introduces bias. And, like, maybe they're just being upfront and saying, hey, look, we realize that if you have, 20,000 retweets and likes, that, like, that's going to influence our judges. Because it will. I mean, even if you don't want it to, it's going to. If you see Nathan Fowkes enter and he does, he worked on Puss in Boots. If he does something on the theme of cats and people know his name, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is so great!" Like, it's absolutely gonna influence them. So maybe, hopefully, that's what they're talking about. I doubt it. I really don't think so. I think they're just saying it's a popularity contest. But you know what? That's fine. I still don't know what else to paint today, and so let's do a cat theme painting. Made in China. Hello. Also, I'm sure I'll mention this again, but I'm going to do a bonus stream tomorrow. So I'm going to stream tomorrow as well as today. I'm only going to do like a half stream tomorrow, but I'm going to do a dual stream, a co-stream. Not, I don't know what you call it. A streaming together with Casey Snow. We're going to do some environment virtual plein air painting, study paintings, stuff like that. I don't know exactly we still might end up changing our plans. But basically, we're gonna do some sort of study art gym type thing based on environments. And so I'm kind of a guest on her stream, but at the same time, I'm still gonna be streaming, so it's sort of also my stream. I don't know, but it's gonna be a thing tomorrow at very early in the morning, like 3 hours ago for me. So whatever time it is now for you, that time 3 hours ago tomorrow. Hey Sarah, how's it going? So yeah, I'm gonna paint cats today. Not just like some illustration with cats. Also, my tablet's doing the thing again. Come on, tablet. If I unplug it and replug it, surely it will stop doing this, right? I'm using my mouse right now. I'm not actually... I don't know why it's doing this. I don't want to have to restart my computer. That time 3 hours ago tomorrow. Yeah, well, everyone's on a different time zone, so I don't know, like 8 a.m. Pacific time. But that might be meaningless for some people. So, anyway, that's the time that it is right now, minus 3 hours, and tomorrow. That makes it clear, right? Surely people can be like, what time is it right now? Oh, it's 11 a.m. Oh, 3 hours, or maybe it's not 11, maybe it's 1 p.m. Right? Again, I don't know what time it is for you. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with my mouse or my stylus. Whatever. Who cares? Okay, so we've got some ideas to do. Just say which time zone you're in, people can convert. I know, but let's be real. People aren't going to do that. I've had so many times people are like, what time is it? It's like, oh, I've said it 20 times. But no, I know. It's 8 a.m. Pacific time. Okay, so cats. What about cats? Originality is a thing they're judging it on. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, fantasy cats. Fantasy, but that's generic. We'll have to explore more on that. We can do sci-fi. I don't know if I want to do a sci-fi painting. You did the Paint-a-thon 24-hour challenge over the weekend, and some people in our group were at different time zones, and it was the easiest to just convert from out time zones. 8 a.m. Pacific time, everybody. Yeah, I realize, I mean, obviously saying the time zone is the best way. I'm kind of goofing when I say whatever time it is now, but 3 hours ago. Just to know that it's not... Normally it's the same time, and I can literally just say, I start stream the same time, and you can literally see what time I started stream today. And so you can just, like, look at it and be like, oh, it's this time tomorrow, right? But it's not this time tomorrow, so I'm 3 hours earlier. But it'll be Pacific time. Cat Bard. Ooh, we could do bards. Gosh, I need to figure out what... Hold on, what if I switch styluses altogether? Does that work? Maybe. Fantasy. Cat. Bard. Hold on, let's do this. Bard. I don't even need to put cat, because it is cat. Oh, I see. I always forget you start at the same time. Yeah, I always start at the same time. So when I say, like, I'm streaming tomorrow, it's not the same time. So I just want to make it clear that it's 3 hours earlier than I normally stream. But it is still Pacific time, and it's 8 a.m. instead of... Anyway, not that important. I'll mention it throughout the stream that I'm doing a bonus stream tomorrow. But, yeah, okay, so we could do a cat. We could do bards. We could just do, like, a whole D&D group. I don't know if I want to do that, though. We could do, like, a market scene with, like, fantasy cats. I mean, this is still very much up my alley. I don't want to, it could be, like, cat companions, like adventurers with cats, or like an entire city built around cats. There's the, like, I don't know, with everything from like the motifs and everything could be just cat themes, so like cat worship kind of thing. That sounds weird, but is it worship? Worship? No. How do you spell worship? Worship. Is there a reason that this and this are so close to each other? A warship or a worship? I don't know. Cats playing poker? I don't think I want to do cats playing poker. I just saw some Cat City art yesterday, coincidentally. Oh, nice. I'm just trying to think. I mean, it doesn't have to be like we don't have to start with a good idea. This is something that I'm kind of. This is why I actually like open-ended ideas or themes like this. Um, I like open-ended ideas just like cats as the theme because it's such a generic starting space that then and because they're judging for sort of originality to some idea. A catfish. We could do fishing, bard. We could do like fishing. We could do like different jobs. So like cats with jobs. So you could have like entertaining cats. We could do like a full city with like a fishing cat. Yeah. So okay. So it kind of it. I mean, I'm not really taking it seriously. But yes, it's for the Clip Studio contest. Here. Let's see if I open this. I kind of don't like the Clip Studio contests. I'm sort of outspoken about how I think they're poorly run. At least the rules are, and their efforts to remove sort of like bias and all that, like judge fairly. They're just they it feels more like a way to get people making art for it without having the. It feels like it's very low effort. I think that's what it is. But anyway, yes, there is a contest. It's cats. It's pretty open, open-ended. Please submit original illustration on the theme of cats. It can be anything. And then it's judged. Okay, but yeah, I'm not a big fan of some of their rules, but we can get into that. Also, I've just lost my chat. I can't see chat. Oh, there we go. Sounds fun. I probably won't have time, but I also don't need a drawing tablet, which is the prize. Yeah, it's also $2,000, I think, right? Let's see. Awards and prizes. 2,000 cash prize. I don't know if that's... I don't actually know if it's really cash. Clip Studio Paint, activation code, dual device plan, 3 years, social media profile picture frame. I don't know if that matters. Apparently it's just money in Clip Studio. I don't think it's a tablet. Oh, you're talking about the fish person contest. Gotcha. I saw an artist posting about a fish person contest earlier today. I don't know anything about that. That sounds interesting too. Bummer I missed the era of ArtStation contests. Yeah, ArtStation contests were great. So, but anyway, this contest, I have a love of doing contests because I think they're really good for like pushing yourself, giving yourself a little personal project. But I don't like it when they're poorly run because it just bugs me, and I feel like process of how you, I mean, art obviously has a lot of subjectivity, but trying to remove bias from your judges and treat everyone fairly and make it feel like it's not rigged, like that's, to me, that's really important, and they don't do that. So if you go to the submission rules, this line down here, so they say things like only original work, they say very clearly no AI, which is great, but then they say this, and I've already read this once today, and I'm sure I'll read it again. But entries will be judged on quality, thematic relevance, and originality. So far, so good. Although not a deciding factor, the number of reactions to your submission will be used as a reference for judging. That's not good. That should not be a thing. They should actively try to get rid of that, because it basically just turns into like who has the biggest social media account. Like, is that not what they're saying or implying? And they're saying, although not a deciding factor, but let's be real. If it's affecting it, it is a factor. if they will be used as a reference. Yeah, although not a deciding factor, it will be a factor. Yeah, used as a reference for judging. What does that even mean? I don't know what that means entirely, but if I'm just at a cursory glance, it seems pretty clear that it is a factor, and it shouldn't be a factor. You should actively take steps to remove that as a factor. And so, yeah, that bugs me. I don't like it. And so I don't treat it with, like, much prestige. It makes it feel like it's going to be a little rigged, kind of like, oh, you have a friend who's in the industry who gets a lot of votes because their name is popular, and therefore, oh, well, it's pretty clear people like their, it's just, I don't. Anyway, not that I'm really I mean, obviously you just try your best, and you're not really doing it to win, but it's still nice if it feels fair, you know? It's like it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of like capitalism, you know, or just like any sort of like job thing. Like I realize that you should still work hard and try to succeed in life, but knowing ahead of time that it's completely rigged and that you don't have an equal shot just sucks. Like why have that in there if you can just not have that in there, right? It's not like this is a, you know, it's just like why why is that there? Anyway, that's my ramble. It very much annoys me, but who cares? Let's just paint anyway. That being said, I did look up on different social medias to find the best aspect ratio, which is 9:16. And so that's what I'm gonna make sure that these are at. Rant. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's annoying. Anyway, what's the 900 by 1600? So that's the ratio. Is that the same ratio I'm at right now? It looks like it. Nope, not quite. That's for Twitter anyway. Not to derail or self-promo, but since we're on the topic of contests, do you want to see our paint-a-thon? Yes, I do want to see the paint-a-thon piece. And also, I want to see the other contest, because if it's cooler and it's still ongoing, maybe... 14 hours ago, XP Pen and Inkwell have partners to give out prizes for the holiday season. Contest guidelines. Hold on, maybe this is a better contest. Should we just do this one instead? Contest guidelines. Create art of a fish person. What that means is up to your interpretation. And try to have fun with these. You don't have to make a masterpiece. I'm looking for creative designs over technical skill. I mean, that already is like, at least they're putting the criteria out there. First place, Artist 12 third. I don't know what that means. Second place, Deco Pro Gen 2. Third place, Deco LW. I don't really know what any of those are, but tablets, I guess. That's cool, though. I like that. I mean, drawing fish people is fun. I had a D&D character who was all about fish. That's fun. It's the collab between the artists. Yeah, that makes sense. Using their platform and their popularity to promote a contest between. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a fun I mean, gosh, maybe I should do that instead of cats. Maybe I'll do. When does it end? How long do we have? Maybe we'll do both. Because I'm not gonna take the cat one super seriously. Like, I don't want to think too much time. January. Oh, we got time for January 10th. Oh yeah, we can do both. And when's the deadline for? Hold on, real quick, let's just do this. There, that's gonna be the edge. Here's our piece. Okay, let's take a look. This is the piece that... Oh, this is awesome. Tailing Winds. The team was you, Sarah Lanart, Diego is drawing, and Altophone, and then Blue Rider, Midomochiti, Isaac McCree, and art by Benny. This is cool. I like it. Including the person, and okay, oh, and this person. Okay. Okay, gotcha. I like it. I like all the little elements, all the little the teacups and the bells and or I don't know if those are teacups, but there's like the market stall with all the things. Also, the view is really cool, the overhead view. You should check out the process. in the thread. Oh, what am I doing? I'm a boomer. Oh, brainstorm phase. Ooh, okay. I wish I could zoom in, but that's amazing. It is amazing. I like the thumbnailing, all the little thumbnailing and designs and figuring out what you're doing. Going through different iterations. Character design, nice. So what was your contribution to this? What part did you do? Oh, it probably says, doesn't it? No, does it say what each person did, or probably? I mean, I'm sure everybody worked a little bit on different stuff. Had a few of the same team members from last year, but a few new people. Nice. Some color work. I like it. This is super cool. Also, the colors are fun. It's very, like, prismatic. There's all these different, reds and greens, and it's just a whole bunch of colors. It almost feels like the Northern Lights, kind of, like, because, like, this has a green glow to it, but there's also these pinks and stuff, so very green and pink. Mostly help with the layout and color sketch phase, composing everyone's pieces and adjusting as needed. The FX behind the deer and the prismatic lighting, and then blocking and rendering. Oh, nice. Well, this is super cool. Very nice work. Here, I'm gonna give a repost. Okay. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so I kind of like the idea of doing like different jobs, although I don't want to do super character-y stuff. I don't know, we could try it. Was hoping to have more time to render, but the compositing and testing other pieces was taking too long. Fair enough. Okay, let's just do some simple black and white sketching. That's what we're gonna do today. The challenge is fun. It's really fun because I love the holiday season, those festive vibes. Yeah, I think it's awesome. All right, but yeah, I think for this, so I might end up doing both the fish contest because it does seem fun, and again, it's not really about winning. It's more about like using it as a reason to put more effort into a thing, kind of. I don't know. And when you have multiple people doing a thing, just having a challenge is fun. It doesn't even matter what it's for. Okay, so what if... Also, am I lagging? I am. Just a little bit. Let's close some tabs. I'm excited to see your fish person sketches if you do end up doing one. I'll live through your art vicariously. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know when I'll end up doing it or if I will. I don't know. If I probably will because having any excuse for a thing. But okay, let's think. So what we could do, I like the idea with like cats with jobs. So what are things, let's just write it out. What are things, like I like the idea of cats fishing, right? Because cat and fish and like they like fish, so cats fishing. What are other things cats would be good? I mean, they have claws, so things like shredding or what other things would cats be good at? Um, like woodworking. I don't know. I'm trying to just think of random stuff. Random pottery, I guess. Because cats like to knock pottery. So they could have like, whenever there's like things on the counter and cats like to knock them off. So maybe things that are very breakable, like, and then you just have a bunch all over the ground. So pottery, that could be cat rock climbers. Oh, that'd be fun. I was thinking more like jobs though. OMG, a cat potter is a cute idea too. Yeah, I mean, rock climbing feels more like a hobby. I mean, it does seem they would be good at that, but I'm thinking more like Yeah, things like firefighting and um they're always fighting the urge to knock it over once they finish it. Yeah. Um you could have like the frustrated cat artist who's like knocking the things off their desk and it's just a pile of discarded ideas, and the discard ideas are actually just broken pots that they've knocked off their desk. I don't know. That'd be fun. Um, it's not even characters. It's just cats. Literally just cats. It's open ended. It could be anything. Here, let me go back to the um. Graceful, playful, and even mischievous. How would you depict cats? Please draw illustrations plural that capture the charm of cats. So I guess that's talking to everyone. But and then let's see how to apply. Does it say more? The entries that depict this are not. No, okay. Oh, I haven't actually gone through this carefully, but submission rules, I guess. Is it under rules? No, this is just like how to submit. It's basically just that. It's anything that has to do with cats. It's super open-ended. I don't know if there's tips for creating work. Is this made specifically? No, it's not. Yeah, I guess that's basically it. It is please submit an original illustrations on the theme of cats. So I guess it's just yeah. Anything. But it does say that originality, they're judging based on originality. So it's probably not just like, here's my pet cat, but it's more like, you know, multiple cats. You know, you obviously want, I don't know, it seems like it's pretty clear that you want it to be interesting and somewhat novel, I would imagine. But I like the idea of a pottery cat. That sounds fun. Pottery cats. What else? What else do we have? Cats like to knit yarn. So knitting cats. Because you could have, that's not how you spell knitting. Add an N in there. Knitting cats with like playing with the balls of yarn and stuff and like unraveling it as the person is knitting it. Or as the cat is knitting it. So cats knitting it and cats unraveling it. So pottery, knitting, what else do we have? We have, I mean, cats don't like water, so you could do something, again, with water, like, I don't know. I'm sticking cat rock climbers in your back pocket to do one day. Nice. I mean, woodworking, pottery, and knitting are all like artisan type thing. Cat in a submarine looking terrified. Yeah. A lifeguard, cat lifeguard. uh, I don't know, any of those things. But I think that works. I like the idea with pottery. So if we do pottery, I mean, we could kind of set it up just like, I don't know. I don't really know the best way to do this, but I'm just gonna block in shapes. Also, how to draw cats doing pottery? Like how do they sit at the pottery table? Like hunched over? Because cats are kind of like long and I don't know how cats look, but do they sit like that, kind of? I don't know how cats look. That doesn't really look like a cat. Is that kind of a cat? Like the shape of one? But yeah, maybe it's a chunky cat. That looks like it doesn't look like a cat. And then of course they'll be on like a desk. I'm just and then we'd have like the pottery wheel. I don't know how pottery wheels look, but it, again, doesn't matter at the moment. Just making shapes. Just thinking. This is my super rough brainstorm idea. Pottery wheel, bunch of stuff on the ground. Obviously, figuring out what a pottery wheel looks like would be good. Let's do a Google search. Pottery class images. Get a PureRef file open. You gotta scroll down a bit to see them. If you go to this page, you'll see some amazing designs for what the cat characters in this game was gonna look like. Really amazing designs. Oh, let's take a look. A carving cat using claws. That's a good idea. Cat carving. I like that. Carving cat. Yeah, carving. And we could do intricate pottery with the... maybe like the clay looking like a cat. Yeah, we could have them sculpting cat things, and then on, you know, maybe there's like a back wall with all their sculptures and stuff. So, you know, you'd have, you know, obviously this is not gonna be the actual illustration, but you know what I mean. Like, you know, you'd have the busts of other cats, like their heads and their torsos, and then you'd have, you know, things in the shape of cats or pottery, stuff that's knocked to the ground, you know, and broken, and, you know, pieces and stuff on the ground. Because, of course, they knock things off the table. Okay, let's take a look at the thing that you just linked. Okay, hold on. I'm juggling too many windows right now. Let's open PureRef. I'm just gonna drag random crap in here. People doing pottery. There we go. Pottery class. I'm just literally just grabbing Google Images just so I can see what like these little tubs and the wheels and stuff look like. Okay. Let's see. What did you link? Let me see. Ooh. I like it. Yeah. Oh, I have seen some of this. Yeah, I have seen some of this. I think I've seen some of this. Also, I just love how everything looks. Okay, the cat characters. Are we too far? Maybe it's still, we gotta go more. Oh, here's a cat character. Yeah, so I'm thinking kind of like this, sort of humanoid, you know, cat. Not super humanoid, but keep going. Oh, there's more. More cat? No, I think we were there. Is that it? Let me just get to the... Oh, boy, there's a lot. Hold on. This is massive. I guess that's cat themed, kind of. There's so much good art here, though. Oh, are these cats? I don't know if these are cats. Do you call these cats? These look like dragons. Kinda. Kinda cat-like. They're sort of cat-ish. These are so cute. There's so much good work done for this. This is amazing. This is inspiring just to see so much. Although a lot of this is like the same stuff we've seen, but just put in an organized differently. But yeah, a lot of this is good. I mean, all of it's good, but... And I realize I'm not... I should be taking time to appreciate all this, but this is... You know, I do actually want to get to drawing. They're cat-based for sure, but it was more thinking of the humanoid cat. Yeah, the humanoid cat is definitely... I'm just wondering if there's any more down here. Oh, what is this? Are these... I think we're past... Probably past where the cat designs are. I like the carrot shape on this. That's cool. The bunny character with the carrot-shaped drill. That's really cool. He literally never misses. Yeah, they're all so good, and they're all super well thought out. I mean, just the little details, you know, like the bite out of the hat. Things that are smoking, and she's got all the... It's just, yeah, everything is great. Yeah, this is so cool. Thanks for sharing this. I want to go back through this and look at all this because there's so much good stuff here. But yeah, okay. So it was really just that one. God, they're so good. Everything is so good. Okay, but anyway, if we go back up here. No, we weren't that far up. There, this one. He worked on Spyro Reignited too. Love the style of that game. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna take a screenshot of this so I can... Does it fit on my screen? Yeah. Just not so I can use the design, but more just so I can think of, you know, humanoid cat proportions and stuff. I do like that. It's a fun thing. I like this a lot. Okay, I'm gonna pin this because it's cool and I want to see it later. Okay, and then I'm going to get rid of all of these because I have so many things open. Is there a way for me to save this? There, we'll just save that for later. You haven't even noticed how the hat shape fits the ears as well? Oh yeah, yeah, it has the ear shape. Yeah, that's cool. And it's cool because it's an asymmetrical design. It's funny from the first view. It actually looks like a regular hat shape, but because it's tilted, it fits the... Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, just it's so thought out. Everything has thought put into it. It's not just random stuff. They're like every single thing is thought out, and it's just super cool. Asymmetrical outfit designs. Yeah, and what's cool is because the initial silhouette of this hat, or at least of this particular illustration, has a regular hat shape. Like it has the thing here and a thing here, right? Like it literally is the shape. The thing is, but because it's on the side, right? This is the one ear and this is the second ear. So it's like it has the silhouette of a regular hat. Like it... And so it's cool that it's... I don't know. I think it's neat. You met him at Lightbox last year, and he's so nice, but he's always speaking out against AI online. Just a force of good in the world. Oh, that's good. Raichiana, how's it going? Okay, so I think Pottery Cat's a good direction to go with, but let's think about... I don't know. What would a potter... I mean, a pottery... Let's think about potters. What do potters wear? Professional potter. I remember once when I went to Japan in high school, we went to like a pottery thing, and there were all like the master potter people. It was pretty cool. But I don't remember anything about it. I mean, I feel like the cat will have matted, like, you know, like its hair will be very like chalky and matted and dirty. But maybe not. Maybe it's just its hands. It'll have mitts, so like white and I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think this through a bit. The heck? Okay, so much AI. Hold on. I typed in professional potter and it's just giving me the same AI image over and over. Hold on, let me... Oh my goodness. No, Google, I do not want to use my location when I'm looking for images. What in the world? All right. Doing all right? Hope you are well. I am doing well. I'm going to do a contest thingy for Clip Studio Paint. I never did look when it ends. I should probably know when this ends. What if, I think it just started though. Let me see when the contest ends. I assume we got a while. December 12th to January 5th. Okay. So this one ends before the fish one. Good to know. Also, ignore my sketch. I don't think I'm gonna have anything productive done today, but that's okay. We'll have some initial sketches probably. And I'm not gonna take this super serious. Again, I want to just because one, it's for Clip Studio, and I don't like. I mean, I don't know. I don't hate their contests, but it is a little bit something. Okay, we have. How do we draw cats? Let's just draw some cat shapes. Drawing humanoid cats is weird, though. I mean, I feel like... Do I just practice drawing today? I need some references for pottery. I kind of feel like a downward view will be good. So here's the... Or I guess they could just start out as a mound, right? Where's your cat reference? I should probably have more cat... I have some, but not as many. Maybe, like, reference of cats, like, playing with yarn or something, where their hands are together. It's hard because, like, humanoid cats, for references, are not... They don't look at all like real cats, right? Like, they're so different, and there's so many liberties taken with turning them into a character who can walk on their two legs. It's very weird. Let me just do some imaging, Googling. I think with bipedal animals, a lot of the animalistic vibes come from the limbs and their overall gait and proportions. Yeah. Hey, Skittle, how's it going? Ooh, also Lackadaisy has really amazing cat characters. They do, yeah. I didn't watch all of it. I watched some of it. I thought it was neat. When you linked it, I think I watched the pilot episode or the first episode. I never made it past that though, because I don't know why, but I turned it off. I forgot about it. It was good though. But yeah, I don't. But yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of it. Also, I found this reference of a cat who's looking very grumpy. Um, just looks very disheveled. But I like the idea of them a little hunched over. Um, I mean, again, is it gonna be? Do I want it to be like a more of like a cat or a person? That's what I actually don't know. Oh, that's the only episode so far. God, oh, okay, I didn't realize. Going nicely for me so far. Nice, Skittle. I'm glad it's going well. Um, Also, how do you draw a humanoid? I guess I'll draw like I have a reference of a person here. I don't know how to draw this. This is gonna be awful, but you know what? Again, this is just my sketch. Do cats have shoulders when they're humanoidal, bipedal? Is that a thing? Yeah, they have shoulders. They have all the human parts. Um, I don't know how to draw. This is what I get for for neglecting my drawing skills. Do I want it to be sitting? I think I do. And then I don't know how their feet would look. Even regular cats have shine. I know that was stupid. Ignore me. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm being a beginner today. I don't know how their paws are gonna look. We're gonna just draw something here. We can ignore everything else I drew. We can scale it up. This is just like a block in. Maybe here. Just a block. A big blob. They can be on a little stool. That's not really how a stool looks, but that's okay. A little stool, a pottery wheel thingy. Um, Again, I don't have a better reference for this at the moment. Maybe there's some stuff back here. We can always change the perspective once we figure out the general scene. I like the idea of. I actually have a pottery, like a pottery place, like literally across the street from where I live. I should go in and take photos. I don't know if they would mind if I just randomly, like, walk in there. They're like teaching classes and stuff, and I just pop in and start taking photos. Or even if it's just through the window. I haven't actually been in there, but I don't know if it's exactly what it even is. I think it's like it's not a place you can buy things. I think it's more for classes and just like to make pottery, and like you might be able to like rent a little space and go in there and just use their facility. Um, but yeah, they have a lot of like all the stuff you would need for pottery, so it'd be a good reference. Okay. I feel like the cat might have like a I don't know if we can figure out design of the animal later. Probably wearing like a what do you call it? Like a vest or an apron. I'm sure they'd be wearing an apron. just drawing blobs here though for now. Doesn't at all look like a... This looks like a rat. It doesn't look like a cat at all. That's okay though. I don't care about that. I just want the general idea, which so far so good. Apron, cat. How would cats sit like good posture, or would they be lazy? I don't know. I'm not sure how cats would sit. Yeah, maybe some pottery, maybe some tables back here. What? This is gonna be a nightmare. That's okay. Little things on the table. Maybe knocked over again. We're gonna want some knocked over stuff. We could do like the bright window with like the like pottery type thing, you know, having it in the window. I love when my our cats. Hello, Sandrangle on YouTube. You said I love when cats' backs are arched. Maybe if he's relaxed, he could have a nice. Yeah, that's true. I'm not worried about that too much, but that's definitely a good idea. Super arched back, like an old hunched over character. But yeah, I'm just trying to think of like general layout. And like maybe I don't know. I'm not doing the super rigorous process. I probably should do like character design first, and then I should do. But I don't want to put too many days into this. Just like a couple streams maybe at most. I don't even know if I'll work on it past today. Let me look up some references for pottery classes. I mean, we do have like this reference, right? And so again, we could have things back here. Obviously, different perspective. Just do... Yeah, I mean, because this is for a contest, and mostly I'm using it as, like, I don't know what to do today, and so I think it'd be fun to do some sketches for this, and maybe I'll inspire myself to, you know, to, like, continue this more. But I do like the idea of... Maybe there's a cat sleeping. That'd be kind of fun. No. That would not be good in a pottery class. I don't know. What else could we have in a pottery class? Or not a class, but, you know, maybe there's a couple... Maybe there's other cats, like, sweeping or something. But yeah, we could have some table. I don't know. There's so many options we could do. Hey, where's the idea coming from? The idea is coming from the theme of cats. That is literally the theme. And then I was thinking we started out by just writing down some random stuff like fantasy cats could be bards, a market, cat worship type iconography, like, you know, think of like buildings. And then we thought cats with jobs, and then cats fishing, woodworking, pottery. I like the idea of pottery, so I started drawing a cat doing pottery, and that's where the idea is coming from. But it is for there's a Clip Studio Paint contest, or Clip Studio contest, just with the theme of cats. It ends on the 5th of January. I think they just announced it a couple days ago, and I thought it'd be fun to do an illustration with cats. So I'm sketching out some loose ideas to try and figure out a direction I want to go. Some finished potteries with fish. Yeah, we could do like fish themed things. I was thinking it would be fun to have a bunch of like knocked over pots and like cats sort of, you know how cats will swat things off? Or maybe we have like little cat babies like knocking things off the table. Like maybe this is an old like adult cat, and then you have little cats up here knocking things off the table because that's what cats will do, you know? So you have a little child cat. However, child cats do. And then things will be, you know, teetering on the edge of the table. Maybe this one's already cracked on the floor. You know, with little shards down here and stuff. However you draw crap things. I don't know. Again, I'll have to get references. But I'm just trying to sketch out the idea. I mean, I kind of like that. That's kind of fun. Like little baby, you know, a baby cat. That could be fun. And then what else? Maybe they're up here. maybe there's a little child up here doing like what do you call it? Like Mission Impossible stuff up on the ledge, because that's, you know, they're climbing up here with like pottery and it's getting knocked off. Everything's just chaotic. This is like a parent trying to get their children under, not really get their children are just going wild, but you have all these little things, or maybe you even have one like I don't know. They could just be around there. Again, super loose. This is not meant to be the actual painting. But I do want to block in, like, you know, what if this were a composition? Like, what if this were the painting, you know? How would I set it up? Having a super cat crowded image would be surely be well. Yeah, I think I'd want it to be pretty cat crowded. Exactly. I think cats, lots of cats doing things is just always more cute. Maybe different types of cats, different shapes. Maybe a sleeping cat. But yeah, I definitely think lots of cats is better than one cat. Even if there is a main cat design in here. More cats is always the answer. Yeah, I mean, I think also if you're trying to have like cats knocking things over, a little bit chaos is good. Um, Also, I realize this is probably unreadable to people because it's just so much stuff. I don't know if I like that angle though. I think if we are gonna do this, I would want it to be a little bit top down maybe, and then you can see like, I mean, kind of like this angle, I guess. Hmm. That one looks like a raccoon. You have a wonderful brush for big value blocking. Is it free to get somewhere? This brush I'm using is by Zach Retz. I'll type the name. Zach Ret. I think he has a Gumroad it's free on there. This brush, this is for Clip Studio Paint. It is actually I have a link. No, I don't have a link to his stuff. But it's just you can Google it. It's Sample Brush 37. So it's just it's a pretty nice block-in brush. It's it's very messy. It's not super yeah, I don't know. I almost never do line work, so this is very weird for me, but I think it's probably good to sketch in some lines, especially if I'm doing like a I don't know. Maybe is there rows of people? I could do rows. But yeah, it's fun. I like this brush. I really like it for most of so like I normally do more environment stuff. A couple days ago, here let's open up some stuff. A couple of days ago we did this. So I normally do more like bigger things, or not bigger things, but like environments. And I very rarely use lines at all. I just kind of start blobbing in shapes and, do that, so. But, yeah, no, I like it. It's a nice brush. Skittle says, you're most definitely not biased. Yeah, not at all. You are definitely not biased when it comes to cats. But yeah, I think this will be fun. I was just talking today, or not talking, but like I saw a Reddit post today. And the post was something about like how do you force yourself to do art, or do you I think it was more of a question, like they were asking people if they ever feel like they have to force themselves to do art. And I'm like, yeah, like starting for me is the, and I was thinking of my answer kind of, because that's what I oftentimes do, is it's a way to like for me to kind of self-reflect on a lot of questions that other people have. That way I can like, think about it. And I'm thinking like the hardest part for me is starting, and my solution to that is like give myself little mini projects, or like just like today I don't know what I'm gonna paint, but I knew I was gonna paint, and so just giving myself like, oh, there's this contest going on, maybe I'll doodle on that for a bit. I don't know if that's going to be the thing that I'm loving. I might only paint one day on it. I might just abandon it. Who knows? But it gives me extra motivation to do a thing. You love the textures? Yeah, the texture is nice. For sure. So yeah, it's just I think having a thing to work on with like a deadline, or for somebody else, whether it's a present or a project that you want. Also, what is happening here? Maybe they're like leaning over. Looks like some cool doodles so far. Thanks. I don't know about cool, but they are doodles. Very, very messy. I've never been much of like a drawer, which I should do a lot more drawing, because I would probably improve a lot quicker if I did more drawing. But I think I don't know. This is working. Let's see. What about, so here we have an old person. Maybe there's like again, a couple other cats over here. And again, they can have shoulders, kinda, because they're standing up. They could be stretching out. Hello there, Just Fiction. Now, are these gonna be baby cats? They could be. And of course, I'm just drawing basic pottery stuff. I'm not drawing anything like what the pottery is. I haven't really thought about that. If there's gonna be designs to things. Or like, is there gonna be a theme beyond just cats doing pottery? I don't know. Maybe not. I like this, though. I mean, this is fun, I think. What else could we do? So cats obviously trying to swat at all the things up here, because that's what cats do. What else do cats do? Just Fiction, hello! Maybe they... I don't know. I always like finding cool cultural references and a prop or piece of clothing or two as a jumping off point for my theming. Yeah, that's true. That would be good. I guess we could also have like the whole assembly line, which I know isn't exact at all what you were talking about, but like we could have people painting them. So maybe these are painting the... Also, this still looks like a raccoon to me, but we could have like paint everywhere. Some of the cats have, you know, colors all over them because they're covered in paint. Just like a total mess. Cultural references and a prop or piece of clothing as to... Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I definitely think for these, like, having these aprons and maybe... I don't know. Gotta think about it. Maybe more referencing. I mean, with pottery, we could do, like... There's a lot of cultural stuff with pottery, right? From designs and motifs to, like, you know, what it is you're making. You know, obviously if it's like Japanese or you know, there's a lot of like tea stuff, but there's also like other kinds of, you know, it could be making dishes or you know, there's a lot of... It's not all just the same, you know, they could be making lots of things out of pottery. And so it could be like a specific kind of shop. What else could we think about? I don't know. I do not know. Having cats sleeping is always fun, though. I do like the idea of, like, having the whole range of cats. That looks like a dinner table, though, when I do that. Okay, this... I don't know why, but my brain is struggling today. Let's do... Because I'm on one hand, I want it to be kind of zoomed in. Like, I don't want it to be so tiny that, like, you just have tons of little stuff. I want there to be... I do want it to have, like, a pretty clear graphical read, whereas something like this actually works kind of well, even if the, you know, obviously I don't need to do the same eye line here, but this, you know, it's very just like the whole thing is on the frame. It's not super dynamic, whereas this has a little bit more... I don't know, like, you know, it's actually it's like the table is breaking the frame, and so maybe you have stuff out here. Like, this feels like you're more in the scene, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm trying to just think, like, what might I want? Let me just keep Googling images, get some ideas. We've got ideas. I think today is going to be more of a mellow stream, which is kind of fitting because today is very rainy and stormy outside. I think we already had some thunder. What other kind of, like, do we want to go super colorful, or maybe... I mean, because we could have like a sub theme, right? Like if this is like a parent, for example, and like you have a bunch of little children cats, or like maybe it's a class and this is a teacher. Um, or you could do something like, hmm. We got snow here last night. Wait, hold on. Just Fiction says, if you're gonna have cats trying to swap things from a counter, they sometimes hold themselves lower than the counter and try to stretch their paw. Yeah, that's what I was thinking with this one, right? That's why I was thinking like with a baby cat, like they can't really even see. Oh, but you mean like full on like they can't even see the thing at all. They're just reaching. So you mean like this kind of. Just blocking in a silhouette there. But yeah, that something like that could work. Or yeah, or even this way with their face down here. I feel like that's kind of a cat pose. Stealth mission. Yeah. And we could do that over here. That would be pretty funny. The cat trying to reach at this thing. So like we could have the cat. Hold on. I'm getting in. That is a good point that you made. Just gonna block it in. And obviously references would be important here. This is not how cats look. At least not most cats. But yeah, they kind of have this like just weird angles in their. Yeah, well I was thinking these would be children, right? These would be children. Baby cats. They're not well behaved. Only because I can't think of how to have. Maybe it's a. No, they have to be cats. They gotta be cats. I was thinking like children because it wouldn't make sense to have a bunch of like adult Potter cats and then some of them are like swatting things off. I don't know how that I would do that without it just looking like chaos. But I think if we had like little baby cats swatting things. I bet yeah, that also might be weird though. Oh, Maine Coon is a domestic cat. They're just very large. Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know breeds of cats. Let me Google. I didn't realize that was. I thought it was a type of raccoon. Okay. They're the very fluffy kind. Gotcha. Hmm. Yeah, maybe. They're the size of a Labrador and very fluffy. Yeah, that's what I got when I Googled it. Very fluffy. Yeah, we could totally have a big cat up here. You know, very, very hairy and fluffy with all the floof. And but again, they're kind of humanoid, right? I'm not making cat-shaped cats. Definitely Siamese too. He's Siamese coloring. Interesting. Very floofy. It's a big cat. Did my message about my sister's cat fail to message? Or fail to send? I don't know. Let's see. So glad my cat never tries to knock things over. Only thing sometimes knocks over is whatever cup I'm using because he's trying to throw his face against it. That's the last message I saw, Sarah. And then you said he's definitely mostly Siamese though. I didn't read anything before that. The last thing that I saw you say, here, I can just show you. So you have, they're the size of a Labrador and very, very fluffy. This was supposed to send before the thing about him being Siamese. My sister's cat is definitely part Maine Coon, even though she doesn't have a DNA test or anything, but he's got those ear tufts. Gotcha. Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing here. Oh, Twitch said your message failed to send, but it didn't say which one. I see. Yeah, I kind of like this, but it was my first initial idea, so let's keep going a little bit. We got to do some additional things. Is there a reason to like change the vantage point? I mean, it would be fun if all we saw was like the hand reaching over, or the paw on like a table. They look kind of like lynxes. Yeah, I can see that. But this to me though isn't like the main part of an image, so this would just be like an extra detail, like you know, maybe we have an image like this where they're doing pottery and then there's just a cat hand here. Like we could do something like that. But I mean, it could be fun to have the main part. Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't actually expect anybody to look that long, and I think for an image with the contest, I want the main thing to read pretty quickly. And I think just having a cat doing pottery might not be enough. It's kind of a static activity. I don't know. This is all I did was just put a bunch of pots and just have a cat arm. That would not be, that'd be funny. Just not even having a cat in the cat themed image. Just having its paw. And just stuff broken on the ground. I don't think that would make for a very good submission, but it would be funny. By the way, just an announcement. Tomorrow, I am doing another stream. I'm doing a bonus stream type thing tomorrow with Casey Snow. We're going to do some environment study session. And yeah, that'll be tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So 3 hours before I normally start. Just want to throw that out there before I forget. Which is funny because that's actually going to be more of a normal stream for me than this, because this is very much out of what I normally do. Let's think. Let me think. But I will be streaming here on my channel. But I'm also going to be dual streaming with Casey Snow. So I'll be on her channel too. Yeah, it'll be fun. It's going to be fun. I think we're going to do like a street view type sketching, and then we're going to talk about stuff related to sort of like what to focus. Because like, yeah, anyway. Because, I mean, some of the stuff that I talk about quite often, but I think mostly, like, for her stream, it'll be newer, maybe, or different, because she doesn't typically do a lot of environments. But, like, the other day when I was doing the virtual plein air painting, you know, we talked a lot about, like, you know, when you have a big, messy scene, and there's lots of stuff, and, like, picking a thing and focusing on that, and sort of, you know, simplifying other stuff, or sometimes it's literally making things larger or removing tangents and, you know, upping the color if you need. Like, just that kind of thing where there's a lot of figuring out what actually about the image you like or about the scene and then painting that. But it could also be like a study, right? And so a lot of those topics are going to be talked about, I'm sure. But, gosh, I don't know what I want to do today for this. Maybe we'll just try to get some sort of sketch down. And again, not like a super clean sketch. I kind of like this idea. Let me see. Let me Google, like... Cats batting at things references. Very low resolution image, but that's okay. Lots of plants. I like the idea of the plants that way because then also adds... We could do like a combination of pottery and pots and plants and stuff. just things like this, just cats looking at things, wanting to bat it off. That could very well be AI. What are these? I don't know. I'm not sure what this is. That might be a real photo. I don't know though. Hard to tell. But I do like the idea though. Actually, I've had this experience in real life. Playing chess and then the cat comes over and just starts walking all over the board. Literally have had that experience in real life. No, cats really do. If you're doing something and cats will just like come over and just walk all over it and they just don't give a crap. They will knock things over and yeah. Okay, so we've got cats knocking things over. Maybe it's like... Let me think. Let me put the reference over here. Mine likes to make eye contact with me and then knock something over. Yeah, they know what they're doing. So I like the idea of like the plants and stuff being knocked over, right? But not, it doesn't have to be plants. It could... I'm just trying to think like where or how I might want to frame this. And I think just expanding more and doing more sort of like research, kind of like, I mean, not really research, but like looking for things that make me think like, you know, what if this were a flower shop and these were flower pots? Maybe, or maybe maybe there's a pottery thing, but maybe there's a bunch of plants over here as well. Here, let's just copy this. Right, like what if there were a bunch of plants here and we had it very green, but then we have these are on their side, so it's, you know, making it extra clear that they're tipped over. I don't know why you would do pottery with a bunch of plants around, but that's... It could add some color. And just everything could be tipped over in the background. Cats and chickens are very similar with that. My chicken stole my lunch one day and ran off. I think they got the idea from my cat. They stole... Wait. Are chickens just like in your house? Like, I don't know. I've never known anybody who raises chickens outside of like in a coop, and so how do they steal your lunch? What does that mean? How are chickens stealing your lunch? Like, what is the setup for that looking like? I'm imagining like you're making lunch. Artist with studio with... Yeah, I was thinking that initially. Yeah, Like especially like in the back here, lots of light. It could either be on the side or whatever. Um, but yeah, big window. Yeah, I actually have I have a pottery place near me that has windows like that. So I'll probably take some photos and use that as a reference if I maybe. We'll see. You took your food outside to eat it because it was a nice day. Okay, and then chickens took it and ran. Well, that sounds like you could have predicted that though. I don't know. Maybe I mean I guess live and learn. But yeah, chickens running off with your food is kind of funny. We could also just have like a flower shop people or cats where they're like digging in the dirt. Nah, I do like the pottery idea though. It's fun. Hmm. Hmm. Trying to think. Sorry, this a whole lot of not anything is happening on stream today. Uh well, so I do like the idea just from like a painterly visual way of showing things to have plants because can be tall and so having them on their side is super visual. Like you literally can't not see that they're knocked over. And which makes it a nice like to me it seems like a nice way to quickly show that something is being knocked over because like if you have a pot or some intricate thing, I don't think unless it's broken and there's pieces all over, I don't feel like it's as visually clear at a glance. Maybe not, maybe it is. And then we also have this is totally how I draw cats. It looks like a frog. Kermit the Frog doing some painting or doing some pottery. Hmm. Well, so I do like the idea of plants. I like the idea of pottery. What could be this? What could be a situation? I'm just gonna try and talk through it. Like, what could be a situation where you have lots of people? I'm just gonna think of cats as people here for a second. Lots of people in an environment where some are goofing off and some are being serious, but like they're mixing. Is there? Because that it's weird when you're thinking of adults, right? Because adults don't really do that. Like, if you go to a beginner class, you're very rarely gonna have like literal like fully adult children behave or adults behaving like children, but then also some are very serious. Like I just don't feel like that's normal. And so it's hard to think of that dynamic between like cats batting things off the table, but also trying to do their work. Like that's such a weird. If you think of them as human, that's like not a normal thing. Um, but I'm trying to think of like, are there scenarios where that would make sense, and could we combine them? I mean, I do kind of like the idea of artists. Like, you know how there's that it's almost like stereotypical. It's probably been in like 100 movies, but you have the idea of like the artist, scribbling on their paper, making things, and then it'll pan over to the trash can, and you have like this mountain of thrown away paper. I kind of like the idea of like the mountain of pots off the table, you know, or like things being knocked off the table. Um, I kind of like that dynamic. I don't know how I would show that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking with the cramped with the kids, right? That's what I was thinking here, where you have like the child parent dynamic, because that's how you would get this dynamic with like you can show the cats misbehaving, but you can also show them working. That happened all the time in architecture school. Some heads down, others messing around chatting. Yeah, I guess it can happen in studios. That's true. I don't know. I just feel like it's a weird thing to show and have clearly read like what you're looking at, right? Because otherwise it just feels weird. Like I want it to be understandable. Bring your kids to work day. True. That's not a bad idea. Bring your kid. I wonder if there's like a way like to I don't know if I want to write it. Maybe I just name it like maybe that's literally the title of the piece is like bring your kids to work day, and it can be a little heavy-handed, and then that way it'll like explain it. And I know the art should explain the thing, but like the art should you know, it should be self-explanatory. You shouldn't need a title, but I like that idea though. Or a grandma knitting with a ton of little cats wrapped up into wool. I actually thought about that. That was my initial one. Was not my initial, but it's one of the ones I thought of was knitting. Um, Knitting would be fun. I don't. I think I like the pots on the table more. Knitting, it feels a little cliche. I mean, so is like probably pottery, but I feel like at least with pottery, the execution is not as generic. I feel like cats wrapped up in yarn. Like if you just do Google like cats playing, literally it's like them in yarn, right? That's the so I think I want to avoid yarn for that reason. One of my there's sort of and there's nothing wrong with the cliche stuff, but when you're doing a contest, one thing I've learned from the contests that I've done throughout the years is that about 80% of the submissions are going to be the same idea. Like literally the same idea. And for all I know, I'm in that 80% right now, right? This might be the idea that everyone is doing. I don't know. It's hard to tell until you do it. But generally, if it's the first idea you have, it's not going to be ideal. But I do think when the idea is just cats, I mean, it could be anything, right? It could be cats in space. It could be cats fighting. I mean, there's so many ideas, and I have a hunch that there's going to be a variety, but I do think there's going to be some overlap. I don't know. I might even change the idea as we work on it. But yeah, I think the knitting one's gotta go out. I just think carving's good. You know, if it were closer to if it were Halloween, I think pumpkin carving would be a lot of fun. Originality is definitely important for contests because a judge may see one thing and love it, but if they see 50 other variations of the same thing, it'll seem less interesting. Yeah, exactly. And actually, this is one of the things that I quite liked in contests is, I mean, I actually remember, I think I've told this story before, but the DeviantArt contest, I got the, well, I'm still bitter about it because they gave me like a year of free core membership on DeviantArt where you get a bunch of these points and stuff, because I was a semi-finalist in one of their contests, and then like 6 months later, they took away all the points because they overhauled the system, And so everything I was accruing over that year went to waste. It was so stupid. It's like, why? I don't know. Like the thing they awarded me with wasn't relevant. Anyway, it's stupid. I don't care about the prize really, but it was sort of silly. But anyway, yeah, from that DeviantArt contest, the thing that I remember the most was that even within the top finalists, like half of them were the same idea. And in that one it was floating whales or fish in the sky or floating whales or that kind of thing, because the contest theme was like the world in your imagination or something. It was just something really generic like that. And because it was a generic idea, everybody's first impression that felt cool to them, like, oh, floating things in the sky, like seeing shapes in the clouds, right? That was very common. And fish and whales is like another very common thing to paint in the clouds. And like, people associated imagination with clouds, with things in the clouds, fish in the sky. I don't know how everyone ended up there, but that was just such a common theme that it's like, if you did that, you basically, like, you better have executed on it immaculately because you weren't being original. And I kind of did the same thing. I did like a floating city, and like I was super ungeneric, and I don't know how I got semifinalist, but it was not original, right? I did a floating city, and it was, yeah. So that was the thing that I learned from that, and many others is, yeah, you gotta go a couple steps further than you would normally go, and that's why I think that's actually why I really like this, partly because I didn't think of it, and so I'm stealing your idea. But to bring your kids to work day, that's so specific. Like, that's bringing a level of specificity, not just to like, here's pottery and cats knocking things off, but very like, daycare oriented. Like, I really like that idea. Because that deals with the dynamic I'm looking for, which is like, cats doing jobs, but also being cats and like knocking things off. So I think the children-parent dynamic works. Anyway, so far I'm liking that kind of theme. That's so stupid. That's kind of how I won a lifetime Ko-fi gold membership, but it's only for 30 years. Wait. They don't think you're gonna live very long. No. Wait, you won a Ko-fi lifetime gold membership. That's kind of cool, though. It's been like 5 years, though, and I still haven't done anything with it. That's funny. Yeah, well, if the execution is top tier, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it might if you have a bunch of other top tier execution, too, though. And if the judges are actually judging based on what they say. This is another problem with a lot of contests, is that, like, they say they're going to have criteria for, like, originality, but then they end up just judging on execution because they're blown away with, like, style or something. And like, to me, when you have half of the top contests being the same idea, and they say one of the two criteria they're judging on is originality, it's very clear they weren't, right? Because if they were, those should have been eliminated immediately, right? You should not be having the same ideas multiple times if that's one of the criteria. Like, that's just maybe one of them or something. Even then, it's like, how can you say that you're judging based on creativity and originality if you're taking ideas that are like the most common just because they're executed well? To me, that just seems like you can't have that. Which is one of my pet peeves of art contests, is like people not knowing. I mean, again, I know art is subjective, but let's be real, there are still ways to remove bias, stick to a rubric that you use, try and be, as critical as you can. And with, I mean they do this a lot, even in school. Like, this is a problem even with teachers when like grading tests and stuff. If you know who the student is, you're more likely to like be biased. And also, like, if you grade from front to back instead of question to question, so like in theory, if you have 20 students, right, you should grade question 1 for every student, and then you grade question 2 for every student, right? Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because then if they're like an essay type questions and you read the first thing, and let's say the first question they do a terrible job, and so you grade them an F, the next one you're already being influenced by this grade, and you're thinking, oh, this student is a terrible writer. And now you're going into question number 2 thinking this student sucks. And like it's already influencing you before you've even graded their next question, right? So you shouldn't do that. You should grade this one and then each of the first questions from all the students, and you shouldn't know which student it is, and then you should, shuffle them up, and then you should grade them each again, right? And then that way you're not seeing the previous, like, there's ways to remove bias in judging, and very rarely is that kind of thing done, let alone in schools with, where grading is a really common thing, but even less common in art, where it's like there's already a level of bias included just because it's art and there's subjectivity of like subject matter and stuff. But yeah, very rarely do people, remove names, shuffle entries, remove all sort of identifying features, and then have their, rubrics where like maybe you have, 3 artists who are only judging on, originality, and that's all they're judging. And so it doesn't matter if they like the idea or not. It's just, is it original? And then you have another artist or something great on another. Like, there's ways to add, some sort of rigor into judging. But anyway, very, very rarely do you see art contests that actually have any sort of like, I don't know, process to their judging that isn't where they're trying to remove bias. But so yeah, it bothers me a little bit, but I'm kind of over it at this point because it's been so long since I've seen a good contest. I think ArtStation probably had the best from my experience. They tend to had the best, most rigorous because they actually were trying to be fair, and I think, yeah. Whereas sometimes I get this hunch, especially with like Clip Studio, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's weird to say it. I mean, I'm not accusing them of anything, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of like, give it to your friends type thing. Like, as long as it's, it's high quality, it's good enough to like basically win. Like, you know what I mean? There's no social media bias for Paintathon because it's all on Discord. That's a step. That's the start of something, right? Yeah, that's a start. Hopefully you could do like removing names. You could go into streamer mode where names are blocked out or something. That would be another thing. You could also do, making sure that the judges haven't, like, making sure comments are turned off and emotes are turned off. This happens a lot in Cynic's art contest, where people will thumbs up or thumbs down, so you can still see all the emojis people are using on the things. And also, if you're first, you have more time to like for people to talk about the things, and so like not allowing the judges to sort of be in on the discussion as the submissions are coming in, just sort of open it up, have all the names blanked, and then they can judge. And even that's tough because then you still need to like remind them, right, as they're judging, to like stick to their criteria and not just like switch halfway through their judging and go on vibes. I think they just give all the judges the image. Oh, that's good. So I doubt they would have any way of knowing who made. That's good. Yeah, that sounds really good. Dang, I had to resend that one too. Why is Twitch not sending my messages today? I don't know. I do not know. That is weird. And oh, thanks for the hydrate command, Pat. I appreciate it. Yeah, sending the image files, and also, I mean, really just having a distinct set of judges who are not the ones organizing the events, I think is important, to where they're not, like, trying to have their friends win or something. I just feel like there's a lot of room for... Again, it's not... I'm not saying they're rigged, right? It's just more that you want the people entering to feel like it's fair. I mean, this annoys me in video games too, where you have um like, I don't know, things aren't sometimes like pay to win type games. It just, for me personally, not I'm not saying this is how everyone affects, but like pay to win games, they just make it feel like, if I'm going to be spending my time doing this thing, I want it to feel like I have a fair shot at, like, competing on the same level as everyone else, right? If you want to separate the two and say, here's the pay to win people and here's the non-pay to win and the freemium players, like, or whatever you call it, like, if you want to split them so they're not playing against each other, that's fine. But if there's any sort of competition, you should not have, like, that just ruins the experience, in my opinion, for the people who either can't pay or don't want to pay, right? Because it's like you're spending all this time, but you're not on an even playing field. So what's the point? That's how I feel about contests. It's like just knowing that there's this source of unfairness where they're saying we are going to pay attention to to the likes you get on social media. Well, what if you don't have social media and you just now made your account? You're never going to get as many likes as an account with 10,000 followers. Like, it's just not possible. Like, that's just not how social media works. Like, the number, if I'm sending something out on my social media platform to say 10,000 people and you're sending it out to 100,000, who's going to get more just by the fact that more people saw it? Like, you are, because you have 100,000 and I have 10,000. Or I have 0 and you have 10,000, right? Like, that, it's not always just based on, like, I think including a clause like that is either showing that you think that social media is an accurate metric of how good something is, and I'm now talking about the Clip Studio contest, because they explicitly say that the engagement you get on social media may influence the voting, or they're used as a reference for voting, whatever that means. And, like, to me, that's just that basically tells me that you either think that social media is a good metric for judging how good art is, which it is not, or you just don't care that you have a major source of bias. And it just bothers me. I don't know. I could rant all day about this stuff. There's some really good books. There's a book by Daniel Kahneman called Noise. I think there's also one called there's another book that he wrote about bias, or different types of biases in like data and data analysis. But I think Noise is the book that I read that I really liked, where it's basically about this very topic. It's taking, it's not just bias, but also just, like, decisions made by judges, and, like, if they're hungry or if they're not hungry. It's not a bias, it's just their decision is not consistent from one person to the next, right? Or like a doctor, right? Their performance goes down as they get hungrier. And so you want to get them right in the morning or right after lunch, but if it's too late in the day and they're tired, they're going to make worse choices. Again, it's not biased because they're not, like, it's not consistently skewed, right? It's sort of just random, but that randomness is introduced because of other factors, right? Or if it's, like, rainy out, people will do worse on certain types of tests, whereas if it's a nice day and they're happy and feeling good, they'll do better. And so, like, ways to reduce this random variance in decision making. So anyway, it's a really cool book. I think it's worth a read if you guys like nonfiction books about, like, the science around certain topics like this. But anyway, it's made, when I was reading it, I think I was doing an art contest, and I was thinking about it so much. I'm like, oh my gosh, everything in here applies to these types of contests. Using likes as a metric these days is even more stupid because the algorithm is awful unless it's, like, a trendy thing. I've seen artists with 50k followers get less than 100 likes. Yeah, unless they don't. And, again, I mean, Twitter is exceptionally bad because all it takes is, like, if famous person retweets my post, that's going to 1,000x the amount of engagement that I get. Like, right? Like, all it would take is somebody who, again, maybe I bribed them, right? I mean, who knows? It wouldn't have, it wouldn't even have to be a bribe, right? It could just be by pure dumb luck, somebody with a lot of followers retweets my post, right? That on its own changes the entire thing, right? You're basically hoping that you get these sort of big broadcasts. Sometimes, again, you just have a lot of followers, and a lot of, maybe if you have a lot of big followers, they can send that broadcast out quite far. But sometimes if you're just relying on the algorithm, yeah, maybe nobody will see it. Or the people who do see it just don't retweet it for what, maybe they already retweeted something of yours that day, or maybe they, like, what do you count as famous? I mean, I was using famous in the most literal sense, like somebody with like 1 million followers or something, like a literal like famous actor or something, like, or maybe even a big name in like the business, in the art business, but really just anything that would, imagine Taylor Swift saw something you made and retweeted it. Not that she ever would, but like, it doesn't matter how good the thing is, that automatically is going to make that the most popular post you've ever made, right? My point is, the popularity, the quality of the post is irrelevant when you have these outsized factors that come in and just dominate the metrics, right? It doesn't, like, I remember back when I was streaming, the first time I started Twitter, the streamer Silas A was one of the people who's like, you should start a Twitter, and I'm like, okay. And I remember, my first few posts were just like nothing. And then she retweets one of my posts, and I think she only had like, I don't know, 20,000 people following her at the time. But that enough, she's literally like, I think she made the comment like, oh, I'm glad you're on Twitter, more people need to follow you. That, like, literally, like, that to this day, that is the most engagement I've ever had, because she basically told people to retweet. And, like, that's crazy that, like, it's not about how good of the thing it was the fact that there was well, I say only 20K, but like, my point is, when you have nobody when you're basically a nobody on a platform, and then have somebody with a giant microphone shouting to an audience, like, it doesn't matter what the message is, it'll get more traction. And that's just, to me, like, the most obvious sign that it's not about how good your stuff is. And I'm not saying I'm not saying, oh, therefore you shouldn't try to make good stuff. It's just that it's not a good metric to judge based on engagement. Like, if you are a 20,000 follower account, you will always get more engagement than somebody with 0 followers. Unless by some dumb luck, right, the right people retweet that 0 follower account because the algorithm happens to push it to the right people. Which is why the CSP rule is silly. Oh, it's extremely silly. Yeah, no, it makes me annoyed a little bit. Like, as much as I like CSP, the program, the way they manage their contests is just absurd. Obviously, I mean, quality is a factor in engagement, but it's one factor among many, and arguably it's not the most, right? Things like funny, if somebody makes like a silly fart joke, that might do better than, or if you make art that's already popular, like fan art, where there's already an audience, right? It's not the quality, it's the recognizability, or it's is there humor in it? Is there, like, there's too many factors. And yes, quality can matter, right? If you only post low quality stuff, and that's all you post, and quality including, like, just general appeal, then yeah, and obviously you're not going to do as well. And so obviously you could, as, advice, I guess, to like artists, and myself included, would be like, you still focus on quality, but you also just focus on the things you can control, which is quality, right? Like, but you can't control if some random person sees it for the first time and retweets it to their audience of 20,000. Like, you can't control that. There is these variables that are out of your control, and some of them actually on Twitter or X, right? It's even worse, because you can literally pay for more visibility. You can literally pay for it's not the same as boosting your post on, say, Instagram, but it absolutely is a factor. Like it's yeah, anyway, you can tell that this is a topic that it pains me a little bit. Okay, what am I doing here? I don't know. What if I do like a mini block-in of this? I mean, I know this is not the time. I don't know. What do I want to do here? Maybe I shift gears for now and change what I'm doing. You can control it to a certain extent over the long term, but building that genuine relationships with people and building out your circles of yeah. I mean, over the long term, you can do things that influence it, right? But on a case to case basis, there are you are not in control of every variable. I'm not saying like, oh, it's out of your hands, don't even try. No, do the things, right? Like try to get in the good graces of the algorithm. Try to form friendships and genuine relationships with people where they want to promote your stuff. Like, yeah, you can obviously do that, right? And you should. But again, also that doesn't have to do with quality of your work. So that's another thing. Like, again, quality will influence it. Like, more people will want to retweet your work if the quality is also good. But oh, it's definitely a rant. Because yeah. What do I want to do here? I don't know. Cats playing with things. Maybe I'll do a cat that. Maybe we'll shift gears and do mood. So, like, Sunny. Maybe like a sunny... Oh, I have an idea. Okay, this is probably an AI image, but... Well, let me go back to... But basically, like this vibe, right? Where you have this sunny studio. Also, this is totally an AI image, I'm aware. But the vibe of like the sun coming in and yeah. I feel like that's kind of a nice mood. I might do some color stuff right now. Let's see. Let's see. I'm looking for a... I even put minus AI and it didn't work. Or maybe I didn't put a space. But yeah, I definitely agree with your earlier points, Sarah, though, but that shouldn't be the focus over making good art. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. All right, so what if I just start... I don't know why I have a green background here, but we'll just put in some brightness. I'm going to kind of just paint over this and do essentially a color study. Or a color... I don't know what you want to call it. Just slapping in some color. Some sun. Some sun on the stuff. Maybe some grays. Putting some colors back here, like big old windows. Big old windows. Maybe we get some warmth, so some reds in here, some oranges. Stuff like this. Again, this is not the real painting. This is just a block-in of some shadow, some light. Maybe some blue down here. Different colored cats. Maybe a white cat in shadow, but also some maybe a gray cat. Maybe a bit brighter. And again, obviously this is not the final. I cannot stress that enough. I don't plan on doing any of the actual painting. I might even work on it a bit off stream. Maybe I'll do it like Wednesday or something, and then I'll come back with some sketches. Because I think for stuff with like character focused, or a little bit of character focused, it'll just be nice to do some of that off stream, because this is going to be a bit of like a study in a way. There's going to be some study practice, or not study, but there's going to be some practice, because I'm definitely in out of my comfort zone here. Little bit of pottery here. Things sticking up. Lots of stuff. Little shapes being silhouetted in the window. Yeah, where are all the environment design contests? I mean, I think a lot of them, especially when they're illustration contests, they are kind of like, it's obvious the environment is part of it, you know? I think there's a lot of contests that are mixed, but yeah, most aren't just about environment design. They're typically just illustration contests, which is okay, but yeah, it would be nice to have some actual environment design contests. That'd be fun. That would be nice. Maybe some nice lighting on here. Very bright. I kind of like the idea of lots of brightness. Something just a lot more sunny. Because cats like the sun, right? And so I'm thinking maybe we'll have a lounging cat somewhere in here. Again, I will still need to sketch out where it is. And it won't, this probably won't be even the same composition. But we could definitely have like a child cat just laying here. Or maybe their feet are dangling. I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to have like a little cat napping here. That'd be fun. Maybe there's stuff on the floor that they're sitting on. I guess we could do this. Like have it. They could be like one foot up, so maybe there's like a leg here. Napping in the sun. Leg up. Kind of a weird pose, but that could be a thing. Just napping. On the countertop. That's supposed to be a face, by the way. I don't know. I'm not really sure. But that could kind of work, maybe. Is that how a paw looks? And then maybe this is over here, a little darker. Kind of like this cat, though. Although we don't want too many cats doing the same pose, like here. Oh, I just realized I left the big circle. Whoops. It's okay. Put some darker shapes in here. Lots of fill light here. I don't want to go too... I don't want to go too dark. Because again, I want this to be like light and airy. I like the idea of this. I think the color palette's working. Things up here. Things down here. I mean, I almost like the composition, but maybe not. Yeah, maybe there's like, maybe these are desks, so we have a desk over here. And then with pottery, and maybe we have another type of desk over here, like, I don't know, could be paint. Maybe there's like an easel back here. Just like a whole full-on studio. Got some easel. Different things. I'm trying to think, maybe little bits of light on the ground in sort of a showing that there's windows here in the back. I mean, we can see the windows, but I like this, I think. Again, I'll have to figure out the character designs. This will be on like the the thingy. This is a little dark. A little dark. Oh! We're getting raided by Ronald P. Maxwell. Welcome in, Ron. How's it going? Ron, how are you? Welcome, welcome, Raiders. My name is Joe. I'm painting stuff. I am painting a, kind of doing some color stuff for, I'm starting a contest for, it's for the Clip Studio Paint Contest. The theme is cats. Basically anything cats. And I'm painting an illustration of, like, Bring Your Kids to Work Day. That's what I've decided that I'm painting. And it's gonna be, like, a cat who's doing pottery, but then all the little children cats are causing mayhem, and they're knocking things off the table, they're sleeping, they're mostly knocking things off the table. There's gonna be lots of pottery breaking. Yeah. So that's gonna be the theme. But right now I'm taking a break from the sketching. This is not gonna be the final composition or anything, but this is purely me just trying to take a break and sketch some color stuff. So yeah. But how was your stream, Ron? Going well? Had a nice chill world building stream? Nice. I love that. Yeah, we are today is a chill stream. But I think I need a chill stream today. I mean, it's pretty chill. I did just rant for 30 minutes or more about contests being judged poorly. Or being run poorly, not even just judging poorly, but yeah. But that's okay. I may not be the biggest fan of the contest I'm entering, but I will still try my best to make some art that, well, I'm going to try pretty hard. Kind of, maybe. I still want to make a nice illustration. It doesn't have to be the most amazing thing I've ever painted, you know? But I do want to do a good job. Maybe if I win and then they can ask me questions or something, you know, I don't know if what they would do. Not that I would win, but hypothetically if I did, and then if they ever did like an interview type thing, like what are your thoughts? What inspired you? I could totally use that as like my soapbox to be like, you should stop. I mean, again, I know why they do it, so it's not, I don't even know if I would tell them not to, but it's just annoying that they use social media metrics. Okay, I'm angry. Not angry. I'm not angry. I don't know. It's just, I'm peeved. It's a pet peeve of mine. I am peeved. But yeah. Do you want to share what you're working on today, Ronald? For those who don't know, Ron does amazing world building stuff, has sort of projects that build off of each other, each stream. Massive world building stuff. It's very great. You sound incensed. Is that the word? Incensed. I'm just a little salty. Yeah, just a little salty. I'm just a stickler for systems that, like, do the thing they seemingly want to do in the best way possible, and not having obvious, like, sources of bias or loopholes or whatever. It's kind of like with I don't know, like in law or something. Like, you don't want to write a law with such an obvious glaring loophole that it's not actually going to do anything. Like, why waste your time writing this stupid thing into law if there's such an obvious problem with the way it's written that people can just more or less ignore it anyway? Like, that to me doesn't, like, you're going about it the wrong way, right? And people should be aware of obvious loopholes. Or, you know, you could talk about security and the same thing. I just don't like it when there's obvious loopholes or issues in your system. And art contests are no different. There's lots of, but yeah, justified in my opinion. I'm glad people. I'm glad you think it's justified. I don't actually think as that many people care. I think most people probably don't even think about it. But to me, it just feels like you have a source of injustice baked into a thing, and it's like we have the ability to just not have that source of injustice, and so why not just remove it? Like, there's literally no good reason for it to be there other than, well, there is a reason, but I don't think it's a good reason. Anyway, humans make flawed systems by their own nature, but you are right. Yeah, I mean, if you know it's flawed, though, if you know it's flawed, and also it's not like... Why do you think most people don't care, don't think about it? Well, I think a lot of people are like, well, that's just the way it is, right? There's a mentality that people, when it's brought up, the fact that when you think that you're helpless and something can't be changed, there's sort of like, it's maybe not that they don't care, but it's more that, like, it's not that important relative to other things, which is fair. But I feel like in some cases, I share that opinion. In some cases, there are, you know, the problem is so complex, there is no easy solution. And so you just kind of, like, what do you do other than, you know, accept it? You know, you mean, if we're talking about, like, you know, flaws in the education systems or something, right? There's a lot of times it's like, it's complicated, it's messy, there's politics, there's money, there's other things involved. And so, like, okay, you know, you just make the best of what you can and don't worry about it. But when it comes to something like an art contest, there is no reason, right? It's not like this is some long ingrained thing in law where you have tons of people interact. Like, this is like one company doing a thing, probably, like, there's probably like 2 people running it, and, like, it's not like this is an unchangeable problem, right? Sometimes it is unchangeable, or it's very close to it, especially for, like, a random person like me or you, in which case, you know, whatever. If you want to have the attitude like, I can't deal with it, so why worry? Fair enough. I think that's totally valid. But yeah, I think when it comes to very obvious things and people are brought to attention but they don't change it, then yeah. You might be pleasantly surprised. I don't think something most people would fight you on. No, but no, the people responsible for it don't care. I mean, some people probably wouldn't fight me on it. Do you see a lot of people on this thing that's just the way it is? I mean, I think, I don't know. No, not really. I haven't talked to a lot of people on this particular issue about it. So no, I don't really know. I don't think it's the case, though, that people just don't know. I mean, there's only like 3 lines of rules, and that's one of them. Anyone who submits will have to read over this line. I just think most people, whatever, it's a fun reason to join an art contest. Who cares? It's, you know, like, it's not, you know, they weren't really expecting to win anyway. I think there's a million reasons you could justify it. And I think it's not so much that maybe you don't care, but you just, it's very easy to be like, well, whatever, it's not a big deal. I don't know, maybe that's not the same thing. But I could be wrong. Maybe people really do care, but clearly not the people who run the contest, because they've been doing this forever. And I'm not the only one. I mean, I've heard other artists, some other artists talk about, I think I heard Zillustrator talk about it back in the day. I mean, they've been doing this for years. Like, they've been running this contest for years, and people have absolutely brought this up. I would be willing to bet money I'm not the only one. And they don't care, because for them it's, like, I don't know why they include that phrase, right? Why is there no one watching this beautiful art? Probably because you're, what the hell, 913? Probably because you're on YouTube, and I think there's some people here on Twitch. There's, you know, 40 or so people here on Twitch. But yeah, if you're viewing on YouTube, there's not many people viewing. I mostly use it for the VOD. But anyway, hello. Glad you're here. Thanks for popping in. The only people who would fight you on it are contest runners? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, probably. I mean, yeah, you might be right, Sarah. Probably the only people who'd fight me on that are contest runners. Or there could be a reason that I'm missing that I'm not aware of it. There's too many other things that take a higher priority to worry about for most people. Oh, I totally agree. I think you're completely right. That's why I kind of came to the conclusion I think most people don't really care. It's not to say that they don't see it as an issue if you lay it out, but it's more like, yeah, it's an issue, but like, what am I to do? And then you move on. Which is, again, I guess fair. But I think when it comes to, I don't know, honestly, I would have probably done every single Clip Studio contest they've ever run if they had that rule, if they took away, if they changed that thing in their rules to like, and actively showed attempts to remove bias in judging, I would probably do every single contest they do. One, because I like Clip Studio, and also I just really love contests. Contests are so much fun. To have all these people painting the same thing or something similar, you get to see the different people's takes on a thing. Also, like, it's a contest and there's a prize, so like you have this external motivation to do your best and to like put everything in and sort of benchmark your progress or your skills to see like what you're actually capable of. I think it's amazing. I love that. But having this clause, what are we talking about? Oh, I'm just ranting for the fourth time today about the Clip Studio contest. The way, so there's this contest I'm doing. It's basic. It just came out. It's the 46th International Illustration Contest. The theme is cats. It's a very open-ended theme. Pretty much you just submit an original illustration of the theme cats. That's all you got to do. And that's it. There's not really any requirements. It's just, I mean, the grading criteria is listed if you go to submission rules. You know, there's things like no AI. They explain how you have to post. They, yeah. They also say things like this, like we're unable to respond to inquiries regarding selection results, selection criteria, etc. for individual works. Like that's fair, I guess. But there's not a lot of transparency. But anyway, in there, the thing I'm ranting about is this line right here. So they say entries will be judged on quality, thematic relevance, and originality. Great, right? I'm on board up to this point. And then they go on to say, although not a deciding factor, comma, the number of reactions to your submission will be used as a reference for judging. That's the problem I have issues with. Or that's the thing I have issues with, right? They're using social media metrics, your retweets, your likes, your hearts, your Instagram favorites and stuff. They're using metrics in some way. They don't even really explain. And they say it's not a deciding factor, but it's clearly influencing it. And it just makes me annoyed that that's even in there as a line when they should be, in my opinion, they should be actively trying to remove that from it. Is that how they always do? Yeah, they've always done it. They've always done that. This has always been in there from the very first one I've seen them do. I don't know. It might have been like, number 20 when I got in. But it's probably been 20 contests they've ran that I've seen it in there. And I basically have entered one of them. And after that, I was like, I just don't want to spend my time because it feels like they're... I don't know, it's just that word is like... that the whole way of putting that in there makes you feel like they're... Yeah, they always do that, and I don't know why. I kind of can guess at why. It's, there's obvious... Like, they want it to be more of a... Like, they want to promote you promoting your work, right? They want you to retweet your own work. They want you to boost posts, right? They want you to get the word out of there, right? That's why they're running the contest in the first place. So I think that's probably why they're doing it. But anyway, the point is, I haven't entered many of these contests because of that. And I would love to, like, shout from the rooftops, hey, here's an amazing contest, participate. It's great fun. It's good opportunity. Maybe you'll win something, maybe not. Like, I would love to sort of promote it, but I don't feel right doing that because I just think it's run poorly based on that alone. So that's what I'm ranting about. So it could be a popularity contest. Yeah, it could be. I mean, they say it probably isn't, but it also might be. Kind of, sort of. They want you to boost up your own work because it's an advert for their product by proxy. Exactly. Exactly. The more, but again, it's funny because it sort of does the same thing that you see a lot of like games that flop do. They try to like, if only we do all these things other than make a good product, will be popular, right? If only we market a lot of it, or if we, you know, have all the buzzwords, but it's like at no point is it like, what if you just ran a really good contest, you know? What if the quality of the contest stood on its own, right? Maybe that would actually make for a better end goal, like end product, than all these little like, you know, trying to be clever about how they do it. It feels like it's one of those things where it feels a little short-sighted. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. There might be a very good reason that that's in there, and maybe I'm, you know, not entering for no, you know, unjustly. You know, I'm just deciding not to, or I decided not to do it all these years because of a misunderstanding. But it just feels like they don't actually want to have a contest where people respect the contest. They just want a contest where people who want to get a prize will just do whatever it takes to try and like retweet and stuff. It feels like it's their goals are misaligned with like actually making good art and promoting fair contests or fair play or whatever you want to call it. It's just weird. So anyway, it's just a thing I could rant about for days. For days. But yeah, let's see. Did you share what you were working on? Error Macro. Wait, you said, yeah, I wonder why there's no one here. Oh, I didn't realize you, Error Macro, you were even on YouTube. Also, hi. Yeah, there is somebody on YouTube now. And that was a while ago. Yeah. By the way, I guess an announcement. Tomorrow, I'm doing a bonus stream. You're on both? Nice. I appreciate it. I feel like this makes some of my opinions on past contests make more sense. They won't expand further. Or won't expand further. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get the sense. I mean, look, I could rant. It's not even just that. Like, I've ranted today already about, like, even DeviantArt contests, where just, like, I mean, pretty much every contest ever, I have some critique, right? I think in the Cynics critique, I remember I had some, which, you know, I like the Cynics contest. I think it's a lot of fun because they have a really fun way of doing like a draw along type thing where even if you're not in the running and you pretty much know if you're in the running from day one, even though the contest lasts for 30 days. So it's kind of a nice way to like, it's more of a community event and there's only like, you know, 60 people who are really actually trying to win. But even that has some judging issues. He's surprisingly okay at it, though, compared to some run contests. But yeah, it's something. There's another contest going on at the moment, though, which is run by Inkwell. So Inkwell on YouTube is Sarah brought it to my attention today. But Inkwell is partnering with some tablet company, and they are doing a contest, and the theme is fish people. So you have to paint a fish person, whatever that means. It could be a person who is a fish, or part fish, or maybe someone who just loves fish. I don't know. Whatever that means to you, a fish person. But basically, you're making a fish person. Which I think is it's fun. I think it's a fun, and there's some more criteria. I think if you could probably Google it. There's just an Instagram post. But that one, the prize is like a tablet, which I don't typically care about the prize too much when I enter. I just think it's a fun opportunity. So I will probably also enter that one and do the fish person contest. but not until after I'm done with this. But yeah, do I like the colors here? I kind of do. I think maybe, what if I bring in some... Maybe like some orange. You know, even though this is probably not the most ideal composition for this, I actually quite like it. I think there's some... I think it works, kinda. Obviously, this, I don't know if all these shapes work, because I don't know how to draw cats. So I'll still have to do, like, character design stuff for all this. There's a little cat reaching up. Oh, you have some art tax for me. Great, but it comes with a bit of a story. No worries. That's okay. Oh, Ronald did share their art. Here's Ronald's art. Sorry, our painterly rendition of the Maze Sphinx. Ooh, I love it. Sphinxes are so cool. Also, hi, Ronald. Way after the raid. He's probably not even here anymore. But thanks for bringing your community over. And yeah, this is what Ronald was working on. It's very great. I always love Ronald's work. Yeah, we did Ronald raid us like an hour ago. It's been a while. Oh no. I apologize. So much ranting today. I don't know what it is. I'm just in that mood. I don't know if it's like I don't know if I'm in a bad mood or what. Like I feel good. I feel pretty good. I actually am getting over being sick a little bit. But yeah, did I mention that tomorrow I'm doing a bonus stream with Casey Snow? I mean, I know I mentioned it a couple times, but maybe there's some new people here. But yeah, I'm doing a bonus stream tomorrow, early in the morning. I don't know if this looks like a spinning wheel. I am gonna have to repaint pretty much all of this. This is mostly just for color. Trying to play around with the mood of this bright sky coming in, or bright light coming in. This may not be the greatest composition though. We could maybe do something. I mean, this one's nice too. This one makes me think of a dinner table too much. So I don't think I want to do that. What about over the head? Over the shoulder view. And then you have cats leaning up on the table. Maybe they're reaching out to grab something. Little cat people. Cat children climbing things. Something like that, where there's like a child trying to... Maybe it's even tilting. It's disaster waiting to happen. And this is going to be like a character doing the pottery. Something like that, maybe? I do like this. This is fun. I just don't know if this is the right view for this. Maybe there's a cat playing under here. I guess we could. I don't know. My only issue, if I continue on this too much, I might end up liking it. Which isn't a bad thing. Obviously, liking your own work is great. But the problem is that then sometimes you like it for the wrong reasons, not because you think you did a good job in like the design and planning, but because it looks shiny and you have like any idea versus, you know, the idea being developed is gonna make you be more happy with it than not having a developed idea. So like compared to this, I obviously am gonna like this one more. Gotta be careful not to trick yourself into, you know, into not focusing on like the process. Okay, so maybe I think I'm only gonna spend another like 20 minutes and then I'm gonna end stream. Partly because I'm doing the bonus stream tomorrow, I think I can cut today's a little shorter. But also because I'm just, I don't know. Something with my mood is not quite, I'm not quite feeling it. Or maybe it's because this is more thought-provoking and doing that while streaming is harder. And so I can only stream so long before my brain is tired. I don't know what it is. Connections? Oh, I could do connections. Good idea, Sarah. And thanks for the hydrate, Ultimate Pumpkin Pie. And also, hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Sure, let's do connections real quick. When your brain's tired, let's do a brain game. For those who don't know, connections is like a word puzzle where you're trying to find a connection between 4 categories of words. So here is the puzzle. And basically you're trying to... also, this dark mode makes everything... It's hard to see it a little bit. Anyway. C. Monster. Quarter. 100. A quarter and $100 bills. Semi is a type of truck. It also means it's like a prefix. Cold, Titanic, semi, joint is a combined qualifier, final, quarter, finals. Oh, semi, final, qualifier, and quarter, maybe? Quarter, final, qualifier. I feel like these are parts of a thing that could be like parts of a contest. Hold on. And then you have bumper, dump, semi-truck, dump truck. Monster truck. Giant truck, dive truck, cold truck. Cold truck. Is that a thing? Whole truck? Joint truck. C truck. Celsius. Bumper truck. Bumper car. Bumper car. I don't know. I feel like there's something there. Cold. Titanic is giant. Monster. Okay, it's not monster truck. These are words that mean giant. Is semi, is that what that means? I know semi-trucks are giant. So monster truck, semi-truck, giant, Titanic. I didn't know that's what semi means, but it would make sense. 100, quarter. quarter, final, qualifier, joint, like a qualifier round, joint round, final round, dive, dump, bumper. What is bumper? I'm trying to think. So I'm not looking at chat yet. What are y'all doing? Oh, Froster, and hello. I am doing a I'm doing connections. So I'm trying to figure out the 4 categories. I think this is probably one of them. I guess we could just submit it and see. It's not. We're 1 away. Okay, crap. Giant, Titanic, monster, cold, dive, qualifier, joint, semi, C, Celsius, quarter, bumper, final. Dump. I don't know what it is. Is there another word in here that means, like, enormous? Giant, monster, Titanic. Final? Like your final form? that doesn't mean the same thing. 100? That's large, I guess. Dump, bumper, hole. I don't know. But that we were 1 away with this. Whoops, with semi. Okay, so we have a qualifier round, final round, quarter. I don't know if that's right. Qualifier. A final. Dive is a thing. You could dive. You could see. I feel like there might be a C. I feel like C is a weird word here. To see. It feels like it's going to be a homophone, where it's another word that sounds like a word, like the ocean. And you could have, like, dive. Cold. Gosh, I'm so stumped. 100. I mean, quarter. Final. Qualifier. Semi. Okay, that was 1. They're tournament rounds. Okay. So what is the giant then? Giant, Titanic, monster. These go together. We know that these go together. It already said 1 away. What is joint? What would it be? Titanic, giant, and monster, all like behemoths. They're massive. I don't know. I realize it's a little harder to see than normal because I have the dark thing on. Okay, hole. Donut hole. Donut. No. Dump. Truck. Monster truck. Types of vehicles. Bumper cars. Monster, Celsius are also types of energy drinks. But that's not going to be right. The cold joint. Bumper. You could be like bumper to bumper. The bumper, a joint. A hole? I don't know. Gosh, I'm so my brain's not braining. I know that these go together because we've already been given the info, haven't we? Maybe it's something... see. I feel like there's still got to be like a synonym here. So we could do joint, like a joint venture, or I don't know, cold. A dump, a dive, a hole. A cold? These could be words for like a bad, like like a like a, like a bar, like, or like a place could be a dump. It could be a hole, like a hole in the wall, or like a you know, a pit, kind of like a. Gosh, I'm so bad at I don't know why I'm struggling so much. I feel like C is the one I don't understand at all. I don't even know what word it's trying to be. Like, I see, you can see something, but it's clearly not meaning to be that. It's either a homophone for another word, like the letter, or there is a drink called Celsius. There is Celsius and Monster. Yep. These are energy drinks. But I've already guessed. Did I see the story yet? I don't think so. I realized probably halfway through October, as of the 3rd of this month, it's been 5 years since I started world building. To mark occasion, I decided to redesign the very first character I ever made for all those years ago. Oh, that's cool. No, I haven't seen your character, though. Did you post it in Discord, or where am I looking? Oh, you haven't posted it. Okay. Oh, maybe you did. Now I'm confused. Ooh, I love this! Atsukoga. Ooh, I like that. That's fun. I like the design. And here's the redesign. Oh, this is the old one. Okay. Ooh, I like this one too. I like them both. That's fun. So what did you do different on the design? You have lots of intricacies. I like it. Yeah, this is cool. Also, I'm loving that you did this on paper. I don't know. I always love seeing traditional art. It is kind of inspiring. I like them both. This one's very vivid. I don't know if this is like the faded colors of like an old camera. This one is very vibrant colors. I like it. That's always very cool when you redo old art. That's always neat. I like what you did with the headpiece better on the new one. I like that you have the hair sticks, or whatever you call them. I feel like there's a more logical sense to the hair piece than in this one, where I'm not really sure what's going on. Like, there's a bunch of stuff, but I'm not quite sure how it's fitting on her head. So I like what you did here, where you kind of kept the same, like, there's stuff happening around here, but it makes more sense now. I like it. I really like what you've done with this. Okay, going back to connections. I will get this. We only have 3 guesses left before we lose. So cells. I don't think giant is a type of energy drink. I don't think any of these are. Maybe dive. I don't think it's energy drinks. Since I started with traditional years ago, but have been doing digital a long time since high school, I don't think I really have a nostalgia for traditional like a lot of artists do. There's just something neat seeing it. I don't know. I don't know what it is about it. Okay. I think we're gonna have to. I'm. Oh. Dive, joint, dump, hole. Maybe. So I was thinking that dive, joint, hole. Not joint. Oh, a joint. Oh, yeah, you're right. A joint would be like go. Yeah, that's yeah, like a dingy hangout. So earlier, I don't know if you heard. I thought that these are synonyms, but I didn't think about joint. Yeah, you're right. That has to be the other one. Okay, so monster, giant, and Titanic are all words, and I know these work because I was one away. So I don't understand how because these aren't synonyms. Giant, monster, Titanic, 100. Oh, wait. Maybe they're movies. Titanic. Are these movies? Is there a movie called Giant and Monster and Titanic? And maybe what's another like horror movie? Maybe not a horror movie. Maybe Celsius. 100 is a show. That's the 100. Hmm. I'm pretty sure these said I was one away when I guessed this and also semi. I guessed these three, and then I also guessed semi, and it said I was one away. And so we know semi wasn't the answer, or in it. So now we know that these three. So what is it? So like these do go together, but they're clearly not synonyms for large. So I'm thinking green, maybe like green giant, green monster, green, I don't know, cold, shiver, bumper car, giant ant, Titanic ant monster. So I feel like Celsius, I don't know. Cold deals with temperature. 100 is also a number. C, I don't get C though. C is the one I'm not understanding at all. Like what it, I don't even have a guess. Bumper. Cold. Ice cold. Ice giant. Ice monster. Things to do. I don't know. Ice cold. Cold cut. Things that mean, I don't know, like things to do with temperature. Gosh, do we just guess? I mean, we have a 1 in 3. Or no, we have a I mean, we have a 3 out of 5 chance. 100 is also weird. Yeah, maybe it's maybe they're shows. Let's just guess. One away. Titanic, giant monster. I mean, maybe Celsius because energy drink. Do we just guess? Do I just guess again? It's not 100. Is it Celsius? I know that these are one away. Celsius. One away still. It's either C, bumper, or cold. We have one guess remaining. So it's either. Okay, so let's do the opposite then. So we know that these two go together. And either. So Celsius 100, cold, bumper. If these were to go together, which would leave C, giant, Titanic. Like Celsius. Celsius 100. Yeah, I don't know. Cell. Maybe it's like words starting with like I don't know, bumper, bum. Has the word bum in it. um, do any of those things fall into the category of being British and American people argue about? I don't know. I don't think so. Sally sells seashells by the seashore. C Celsius. Oh, maybe things that mean sea, cold, and it can't be 100. So that 100 could be C. Could giant be C? So you could have C for Celsius. This could mean C. 100 in Roman numerals is that C? Yeah, is C in 100 in Roman numerals? And then what, cold? Or bumper? It'd have to be cold, right? We know that Titanic, Monster, Giant go together. So I'm thinking, how do these relate then? What is bumper? Is this it? C? Things that are C? Cold? Is cold C? Or is bumper C? Bumper cars? It is C. Okay, so that's probably the category. What C could represent. But I don't know if what the other answer is then, though. Is it cold or bumper? I'm assuming C is C, right? Because cold. Right? So is it cold or bumper? How is bumper C? Could be bumper cars. Cold, though, could just be C because it starts with the letter C. But also, what does that mean? Like, cold... The letter C. Do you put C on, like, the bumper of something? You think bumper is more likely to represent C, though, than cold? I feel like cold should be represented by C, but I don't know why. Why? What about cold is the letter C? Sorry we've taken so long on this. We're still down to a 50-50. It's either this or this, because we haven't tried either of these with the other category either. It does feel like... I don't think Titanic, Monster, and Giant, though, are energy drinks. And I don't think the energy drink one is the right track, because Celsius is C, and Monster is not C. Because we know that Monster, Titanic, and Giant are all one away. So it can't be these. Like, we cannot have Monster, Titanic, or Giant be C, because these are all one away. And they've been one away with every other category. With Semi, because they were one away when we guessed with Semi. And Semi is not in that category, because it's in this one. So, we know for a fact that, and these two are not with Giant. We know that. So these are... That it has to be C. I think it's cold. Oh, I don't know why cold would be C. But, okay, we got it right. Okay, what is bumper? This one's confusing. Enormous. Bumper? Is that a Britishism? Hold on. Anyone is Skittle here? He would know. Is bumper, calling something bumper, is that a... That's gotta be a Britishism, right? That's not an American thing. I've never heard that in my life. Who says C for cold? Maybe it's like cold and hot. So like I bet it's like the faucet. It's not a Britishism? Okay. I bet it's like the hot H and C for hot and cold. I bet it's a faucet thing. Now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, who says C for... I mean, whatever. This one I kind of get. I don't understand bumper. Why does bumper mean enormous? Oh, I see. Yeah, sure. Oh, I kind of... It means large as in abundant, informally. Yeah, but have you ever heard that, though? And where? Who has ever said, that's so bumper? To mean, like, oh, that's huge. People be like, oh, man, that's giant. That's a monster, you know, bumper crop. Never heard that in my life. Is that a thing people say? A bumper crop? What is that? What is hold on, now I'm so confused. What is bumper crop? Oh my goodness. You guys know what this is? Bumper crop. An exceptionally large harvest? Okay, whatever. We got it. We got it. But we shouldn't have. I guessed completely. Anyway, good job, everybody. Good job, team. I live in a state with a lot of farms. I mean, me too, but I've still never heard bumper crop. I don't know. That's wild. But anyway, yeah, good job. We did some art today. I'm gonna stream again tomorrow. We're doing a bonus stream with Casey Snow. Gonna do like a little study session. We're gonna do some virtual plein air painting. 4 out of 10 connections today. Not you. The puzzle itself. Yeah, it was pretty. It was a pretty. I mean, I don't like to judge the connections based on whether or not I can get it, but I feel like the C was a stretch. But it still was okay. That last one, bumper, just was weird. I just didn't know it. Maybe if I would have known it. Hello, KK Mousy. How's it going? So yeah, I think we're gonna end stream here. My brain is tired. I think we're gonna end up painting something kind of like this. I probably won't do too much with it. I will treat it a little bit as a character though. So I will do some character art. I don't know if I'm gonna do the design off stream, but we're gonna make a cat here with some cat babies, and the cat babies are gonna be knocking things off the table. And there's gonna be some pottery. Very simple, but yeah. But I think this is going to be the color palette, kind of. This blue and orange, kind of. Teal, blue, orange, warm colors. Very bright. I want it to be like a bright studio, because I want some, like, cats lounging in the sun. And yeah, we'll just see how it goes. So, this is going to be a fun thing. I'll probably work on it again on Thursday, but pretty much see you guys, well, tomorrow, but I'm only going to do a short stream tomorrow. So I'll stream at 8 a.m. Pacific time. So yeah. Early in the morning. So thank you all for being here. Hopefully I didn't rant you all to sleep or away. Which I definitely did rant a lot, but that's okay. Rants are fine. That's what we're here for, right? Totally. Not art. But this was fun. This was a fun sketch. I'll continue this more at some point, probably. Although maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to sleep on it. I'd like to work on this off stream a little bit and figure out maybe a design. And then I'll just jump straight into rendering or something for a stream. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I do like that I think this could go somewhere. Especially if I do a good job on the character. But yeah. Alrighty. I'll try to be here, but I got things to... Yeah, I realized the Tuesday stream's not going to work real well with other people's schedules if you're normally only here on days when I stream. But I'm sure some of you will be around then. It's just at a weird time, and it's not going to be a normal stream time. And I'm not going to stream every Tuesday or anything. So this is just going to be a rare bonus stream. But it will be fun because it's going to be a stream with Casey Snow. So we're going to be, you know, chatting and studying and talking about art and environments and how to study and what to study and different ways of doing things. I don't know. It'll be fun. You have no schedule usually because you're jobless, but occasionally things pop up. Yeah, and it's just a different time. I have my sort of my habitual sort of my I don't know, just like the ebb and flow of being on the internet and being like in the mood of watching Twitch. Like I'm not always on Twitch. Even if I'm technically available, I'm not always in the mood for it. So I kind of have my times of the day when I feel like I want to be on Twitch, you know. So I realize it's not going to line up with everyone's schedule. But thanks for being here. Everybody who popped in on YouTube, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here and saying hello, and I will see you next time.